Hey, we're on the record. I'm calling file number 17-13969-DM. This is the matter of Christopher Van Ryswick versus Erica Whitaker. And this is the date and time set for a hearing on plaintiff's motion regarding support and plaintiff's POA motion to compel and request an order against defendant to hold a full-time job to offset child support cost, and plaintiff POA's motion to quash or dismiss defendant's witness and exhibit list and enter reasonable sanctions before the hearing on January 18th, 2022. Appearing at today's hearing via Zoom is the plaintiff, Christopher Van Ryswick, and the defendant, Erica Whitaker, along with her attorney, James Saffel, and Mr. Van Ryswick. I have Sherry Polk in the waiting room. She, I believe, is one of the witnesses that you've subpoenaed for today. Would you like me to bring her in and swear her in and have you take her testimony at this time?
I'm sorry, who is she?
She is somebody, I believe, from the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, she actually has a contempt motion on her right now. Sorry. She failed to give me information that was subpoenaed in. I do not have it. She was also supposed to, on that subpoena, she was supposed to appear today by Zoom. She was also supposed to give, what do you call them? Paper documents of Ms. Whitaker's assistance amount of what she receives from food assistance each month and from DHS every month. And I don't have those, and she was served. I have the proof of service that was faxed to the court, and it did allow the 2-week time frame that a subpoena requires, and she has not done it. And that's the information we needed today, as well as her to personally appear.
I just also wanted to note for the record that we have Mr. Van Ryswick's power of attorney, Ashley King, present in the hearing room as well. Ms. Polk, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you as well. I'm going to go ahead and swear you in. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Ms. Polk, could you please spell your first and last name for the record?
Yes, my first name is Sherry, Sherri. Last name Polk, Polk.
And Ms. Polk, are you here today under subpoena?
Yes.
All right. Ms. King, your witness.
Good morning, how are you, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I could be better. I've been sick with influenza and whooping cough down here in Tennessee.
Oh, that's not good.
So I'm Mrs. King. I'm the POA for Mr. Van Ryswick here. So I subpoenaed you in today because there's been some conflicting stories of what Ms. Whitaker claims she receives from the state or doesn't receive, so to say. So today I'm going to ask you Ms. Whitaker's amount and what she receives from the state, just to clear that up so we can get that in court documents, court records.
What do you exactly want? Do you want what benefits or how much? Like,
Correct. What benefits for whom, when they started, and if they are still ongoing, and the amounts for each, please.
okay. I do have a spreadsheet. So she's currently getting food assistance. And the amount of started in January, $740. How far back? Because it varies per month and per year. And how far back?
It's the day she applied. I'll need the date she applied and got approved to currently.
Okay, well, she's been off and on benefits since 2009, and there's several applications that have been in there. So do you want?
Okay, why don't we just go from 2020 to currently?
Okay.
Since that's what's in
2020
dispute.
currently. So let me go through 2020 to currently.
So April of 2020, she started receiving benefits in the amount of $509. That varied about per month. Do you want me to give you every month from 2022? Correct, and who was on the benefits with her for her household for each month as well. Okay, this will take a while. Okay. So for we're starting in March 2020. Is that what we needed, or March 2020 all the way up to current date? Okay. Let me see who was on the benefits. So in March 2020, she got a prorated amount starting March 16th. So that month it was 164 for a group size of 3. And then you need to know who was on. Lila, Weir, Erica Whitaker, and Ezekiel for that month. And then for April and May, she got 394 for the same children. For June 20, she got 509 for the same children. For July, she got 355. It was for 2 children and 2 people. This was Erica and Lila only. For August 20. Okay, and then in September 20, the same 2, she got $16. And then benefits. And then for October through January 2021, she got $28 for the 2, her and the 1 child. Then from February through May, she got 0. And then they started back up on June 5th through June 30th. She got 154. And that was just for herself. Then in July and August of 2021, she got 389 for a group size of 2, which is Erica and Ezekiel. And then you got August and September of 2021, right? Correct. Okay. Then for October and November, she got 429 for the same 2. And then in December of 2021, she got 517. This is for a group size of 3, which is Lila, Erica, and Ezekiel. And then in January, the same 3, she got 535. February, March, April, and May, 535 for the same 3. For June and July, she did not get any benefits of 2022. And then in August, she got 265 for a group size of 3. I'm going to check to see who that is. Lila, Erica, and Ezekiel. And then in September, she got 588 for the same 3. And then October, November, and December, she got 695. And then currently 740.
Why would they why would they differ every month or for various months?
Income,
Explain that.
expenses, there's variations. It could be the income she's getting. It could be the expenses, because we also count rent, what utilities. Our amounts change every fiscal year too. And with COVID, there were lots of changes. A lot of people got maximum amount of benefits because, it was just a federal thing. So there's lots of variables that could be in.
Okay, can you confirm or deny Ms. Whitaker also received Section 8? And that plays a part of her benefits as to what she receives through you? Or through
Section
DHS?
8 is not, that's a federal program. That's not through us.
That's not what I asked. I said, can you confirm or deny if she received Section 8, which plays a part of her benefits through DHS?
That Section 8 does not affect her benefits through us.
So it does not give her trade in as to what amount she would or wouldn't receive?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, that's all I have for her.
Mr. Saffel?
I don't have any questions for you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Polk. You're released from your subpoena. You may go ahead and log off.
All right, thank you.
Ms. King, who would you or Mr. Van Ryswick like to call next?
There were 4 other subpoenas. Let me, 1 minute. Your Honor, I'm gonna call in Miss Kathleen Firestone. She was also subpoenaed in.
And I do not have anybody else in my waiting room at this time.
Because there was all of these subpoenas right here, Your Honor, were faxed to the court. They are proof of service for each subpoena that was delivered and hand signed. Each defendant hand signed or, put their signature on that green card. I got it back and faxed it to the court with all of these, where I had to sign an affidavit and give the tracking numbers. So that means she failed to appear today, as well as Jim Firestone, Angela Pelletier, a representative for Section 8 of Grand Traverse, Michigan, Mr. Sackle, which he's here with defendant, the DHS worker, and Ms. Whitaker herself.
And so I guess what are you asking for the court to do at this time?
Well, that means over 5 people failed to appear, which means I can't give proper, introductory and evidence to this court because they failed to appear, including defendant's own grandmother, whom supports her financially. So that would be a big problem for this court hearing. Well, that's not for this hearing. You have to file a modification of custody for that. And because Ms. Whitaker was also subpoenaed and Mr. Sappel signed for it twice, I'm sorry, Leslie Sappel signed for it twice on the green card, Mr. Sappel did not comply with the subpoena. And again, the subpoena requirements are 14 days. He was given 15 days and I still don't have the information, and that includes her Section 8 and everything listed on number 3 in his subpoena as well. Ms. Whitaker was given her own separate subpoena. Again, she signed for it on the green card and it was given to the court. She failed to give me the documents on number 3 as well that were supposed to be used for this court hearing today as well.
So in light of the things that you've just said, what would you like to have happen?
So because they both failed to comply with a subpoena, her attorney and herself as well, and plus numerous of other witnesses, what I'm going to ask today is, instead of adjourning this matter, we just enter what FOC recommended, what I got in the mail from FOC, and just go directly on that, since I don't have the chance to enter what I should have been able to enter because they failed to comply with the subpoena. And what FOC gave in the mail was that he should be paying $289 a month for child support. I did the child support calculation that the judge, Ms. Witten, I believe it was, is the judge on the case. She, on an order dated, in December, she, her number 3 said that she wanted an FOC calculation, an updated one. It was done. I did get it right here from the court. The court said he should be paying $287 a month. I believe you should have it too, because I did mail a copy of the court when I got it from FOC. So we're going to ask that that calculation just be entered and go off that, since I don't have the information that they were supposed to provide to have an actual hearing to submit that evidence.
I am wondering, did you intend to offer any testimony? Mr. Van Ryswick, did you intend on testifying as to your financial circumstances and any change that might have happened since the last child support order?
He did, and that's why the judge asked this to be ordered. And all of our updated information was given, which is why the judge, Ms. Witten, ordered that this be done for the $15 fee. And that's what we did. We complied with the order of his updated income, change in taxes, children.
Ms. King, is Mr. Van Ryswick willing to testify as to his income for purposes of today's hearing?
No, they failed to comply with a subpoena about her income and her updated information. So I'm not going to put him on the stand to do his. You don't get your cake and eat it too. If you don't give me the information we're asking from you, you don't get that information too. And here's the thing, it was given to FOC for an updated child support calculation. So it was already given to the court once, which is when on January 9th, they did the updated FOC calculation for the state. So he's already testified and given it to them once to do this as part of the order that the judge signed into effect in December. So FOC already has it. Well, when you don't comply with a subpoena, for her updated information, that's a problem, especially when you want him to go on the stand to do his information. One, he's already given to the court to comply with her order and it was done. And now you want it again when they didn't comply with their half of it.
I'm looking at the child support calculation that was prepared by Angela Pelletier on January 9th. Is that the calculation that you're referring to, Ms. King?
Yes.
And it indicates that it's not a recommendation of the friend of the court. It says calculation figures provided by a person petitioning for modification of child support.
Correct. That's what the judge wanted. And the judge wanted us to submit it in for evidence. And that's what was done.
Well, I guess one of the issues, though, is that that was not provided under oath. So when you say that Mr. Van Ryswick testified, he hasn't testified yet. He gave Ms. Pelletier information, but it wasn't submitted under oath.
It was submitted for evidence, and that's what the judge wanted.
I understand that. I understand that. So I'm really, I guess I'm just not comfortable making a decision
Well, then you're,
without any testimony being even volunteered by Mr. Van Ryswick. It just makes me
okay.
wonder why he's
So
not.
I can put him under oath and he can testify to what was given to FOC for their calculation. I can have him do that voluntarily. But what I'm not going to allow is anything from defendant as she failed to provide her updated information on a subpoena. He voluntarily did this and complied with an order. And here's the other, this is typical of this court where you want defendant to, or plaintiff to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He does it, but it's not good enough. But defendant doesn't do something and it's overlooked and just sideswept to the left. Like not complying with a subpoena that would give her updated information and etc.
So, Mr. Van Ryswick, I mean, I guess I'm not understanding the nature of what's happening here.
You do.
Ms. King, is Mr. Van Ryswick capable of speaking for himself?
No, that's fine. It's POA. If you don't want to recognize the POA, we can deal with that differently, and there would be different consequences. If you wanted him to testify to what the FOC stated and the information given to them to do the FOC calculation, I can have him do that under oath, more than willingly. But what you're not going to do is continuously overlook the fact that Ms. Whitaker again is failing to comply with orders, but then make him go do something and hold him to higher standards than her and continuously overlook the law. And you're going to shake your head and you're going to continuously play like you don't know what's going on. You understand exactly what I'm saying to you, and you're not offering any form of resolution. You just want to continue overlooking the fact that this was an FOC calculation done by the judge, just like she wanted on her order. And I told you I am willing to have Mr. Van Ryswick under oath state that, the information given to FOC with this updated income and et cetera is truthful. I'm more than willing to have him do that. But what you're overlooking is the fact that the defendant, again, didn't comply with a subpoena to give her updated income and et cetera. So you want him to do one thing, but you're not holding her to the same standards of submitting evidence for income or testifying to the truthful income, is what I'm saying.
All right. Mr. Saffel, I mean, do you have any response to the subpoena issue or whatever's happening with that?
Well, the subpoena they're claiming was served. I mean, are they claiming there was a subpoena served on me as a witness? I don't know.
No.
I'm not aware of that.
You're
My client wasn't served with a subpoena. My paralegal never signed a green card as
hold on, I have it. I have the green cards.
Okay.
the subpoena that that I see
on,
here for
she's
Miss
got the proof.
Whitaker, the subpoena that I see for Miss Whitaker, doesn't have a date on it. I mean, it has a day.
They have to be
It
signed
doesn't
with a
have a
date.
month.
They are
They
signed
are
with
all
a date.
signed with a date, so
They're all signed with a date.
The
I
one
got
that I
the
have
documents
says,
later.
says 18th, 2023. Yeah,
Your
it's-
Honor, this one's to Erica Whitaker at 290 City, Michigan. She signs for it on the 27th. That's her signature. And this is the green card. Here's the proof of service to the court that I had to fill out, notarize, put the tracking number as well as a copy of the green card. I copied this green card with her signature, stapled it to the back of this proof of service like it tells me to do. I got it notarized, wrote my service fee down with a copy of the receipt that shows I paid $3.50 plus an additional $4.50 to have the post office serve her and have her sign it and then return this to me. I also have 2 for Staffel that were signed by Leslie Staffel. All on the 27th of December as well.
All right.
Good.
Well, I'm not completely sure what I'm gonna do with all that right now, but I guess let's just go ahead and let's hear from Mr. Van Ryswick on all this, and I'll go ahead and swear you in, Mr. Van Ryswick. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give with truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. So, Ms. King, could you just I'm looking at the calculation by Angela Pelletier, and it says for Christopher Van Ryswick that there are 4 total other children. Are you looking at that?
I'm aware of how many kids I've had with Mr. Van Ryswick.
Okay.
I'm fully aware.
Okay. So, Mr. Van Ryswick, I guess the current child support calculation is it doesn't have that, okay? It doesn't have 4 additional children for you. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. So are these 4 children that you have with Miss King?
They're not all biologically ours.
He's adopted my 2 older children, which make them legally his now.
All right, so here's what I'll do is that I need to hear, I've only got one person sworn in, Mr. Van Ryswick, so I need to hear from him. So can you just walk, I don't want to hear birth dates, okay? But can you walk?
Your Honor, I am not, no, we're gonna stop. My children's public information is not going to be online. This is not about my children, and I'm not going to put my children's public information that they have privacy to, especially with Miss Whitaker, especially when she's got a lawsuit right now going for literally impersonating me. You're not going to put my children's public information out there like that.
Okay, well, I mean, based on that request, I do find under MCR 8.116 that there are privacy interests that outweigh the public's right to be able to
They
access.
are my minor children. All are under age 6.
Miss
I am
King,
not putting my
King,
privacy. You're not going to cut me off when it comes to my children. My children have a right to their privacy, and I have a legal right to protect my children. 2 of which Mr. Van Ryswick has legally adopted, and they are legally his. So which means he has 4 children with me now. You are not putting my children's personal information on public record like that, let alone with Ms. Whitaker, when she's got a lawsuit going on right now for impersonating me, and Tennessee has charged her with a felony, a Class C felony, for impersonation and fraud. She's also under investigation right now through the IRS for tax fraud of my minor children. I am not giving my children's personal information or any other access to entice her behavior.
So again, I find based on the objection under MCR 8.116, there are privacy interests that outweigh the public's right to be able to access this portion of the hearing on YouTube and on